Welcome to the Supported Living Property Podcast with your host, me, Lisa Brown, the place to learn about supported living property investing. Hi Andrew, it's great to have you here today. Thank you for joining me. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. You?
Good. Yeah, not bad, thank you. Yeah, it's good. It's great that we finally got this sorted. It's taken us a little while because you've just been so busy, haven't you? We'll talk about that in a little bit, but it's great to have you here. For those who don't know you, Andrew, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So obviously my name is Andrew Powell and I'm the Managing Director of Heros CIC that supports veterans and their families.
Fantastic. And how did you come to be there? What was the sort of route that you took you to being there, Andrew?
So I left the military in 2013 after doing 16 years. And when I left that year, that was quite a troubled year for me. So I sort of like find myself being falling into addiction with drugs and alcohol. I nearly end up in prison myself. So mental health for me was an absolute disaster, and I tried to take my own life a number of times. So it took a few years really for me to sort of like get into a place where I felt I was in the best place to support others. And then I basically fell into the position really in Greater Manchester while supporting a local authority with their armed forces delivery. So it started back in 2018 for me, which has it's been fantastic ever since.
And then Healthier Heroes, tell us a little bit about that. What is that and how did that come about?
So again, it came about to facilitate the support of the wider armed forces community, which therefore means we support veterans and their families and extended family members as well, or anybody within the family that's associated to somebody who has served one day in the military. So that just again sees us supporting them with drug and alcohol addiction, extreme and complex mental health support, welfare benefits, housing. We're now supporting veterans in custody as well. So we're doing a lot of work within prisons across the northwest to enable that transition out of custody and make it as seamless as possible into the communities again.
Fantastic, because that's often where people fall over quite a bit, isn't it? Is that, there's lots of places where the support's needed desperately, but when that transition from prison to living out of prison is very difficult for people, isn't it? So
yeah, absolutely, of course it is. They get institutionalized in there, and they're part of a routine and a regime and whatnot for however long that they're in custody for. So to come out of that, very much like a soldier being in the military, to leave and not have that structure around you, is quite daunting and can be a result of particularly with those in custody reoffending rates.
And the work that you do is, from my understanding, is based at Bancroft House. Is that right? That's where you're based as Healthier Heroes. And we had Sian on the podcast ages ago when it was a Facebook Live, and it was sort of very much in its infancy. But she came on and talked about she was the property developer who developed the scheme, the building for you, and she talks about how she purchased that using SAS funds. And if anyone's interested, it's worth digging back into that one. I think it's about episode 7 that she speaks about it. And so do you want to describe the building and what it is?
Yeah, I will not do it any justice whatsoever. I genuinely won't. The amount of people that come in here and are just blown away by it, it's incredible. So historically, the building was used by a local housing association to tackle homelessness and support vulnerable people. So it's a 4-storey grade 2 listed building. It doesn't look that big on the outside, so you've only got 2 floors at the street level and then 2 below. It's got 21 bedrooms in it. Best way to describe it is if you are walking down a Premier Inn corridor and you've got the rooms off either side, and the rooms are very much like a Premier Inn room as well. That's how they've been designed. So 21 bedrooms, number of obviously office space for support staff, a couple of therapy rooms downstairs, counselling rooms, Reiki rooms, and then downstairs in the basement, so to speak, we've got 2 training rooms that get used on a daily basis. Then we've got a large communal kitchen, which is, it's got about 5 ovens in it. It's absolutely massive. Then we've got a lounge, which is set up with TVs and bookcases and settees and pool tables. Laundry room, and then right out the back we've got a fantastic space which back in its day used to be a swimming pool, so you can appreciate the size of it, and obviously the amount of light that comes in. It's incredible. So that now forms a gym for the guys, but equally it's got the opportunity to be sort of reutilized as well, half of it for a community cafe. So we've got a commercial kitchen attached to the back of that as well. So
that provides an employment aspect, is it, for the people living in the house, or?
So not an employment aspect right now, because anyone that's living within Bancroft are not employment ready.
Right.
So they have got quite complex mental health or addiction issues or various amounts of other things. So, but it does forge them an opportunity to be able to volunteer, give them that sort of reintegration back into the community and a bit of social integration rather than socially isolating themselves. But we've just opened a shop as well. So we've got a charity shop now called Frontline Furniture. And that's open obviously throughout the week now, providing affordable household goods for the community. So the lads volunteering there as well. So again, it's part of that transitional space.
Amazing. I just love the way that it's a whole kind of, it encompasses so much. The support that you're offering is, it's really, and it's, from my point of view, having sort of known Sian and the journey with the building, it's just fabulous to hear that how it's being used and the impact it's having as well. That's obviously, really powerful.
The important piece for us is, the first step is obviously giving somebody a roof over their head. But that's not the be all and end all. It's how that support is delivered within, and particularly, I mean, we're fortunate. The building's absolutely massive. It's 22,000 square feet, so we're able to deliver and offer all of that support under one roof without really signposting to many other people. We signpost to them, but the building allows us the opportunity for them to come to us as well. So everything's contained within the building, which is great, because then, with anxiety and depression and such like, the barrier of transport and travel and new places, isn't there, which is enabling them to recover by whatever means that might be, a lot quicker than they ordinarily might have done if they had to go somewhere to do that.
And so some people would say that having 21 people with complex needs in one place is a lot of people to support under one roof. How do you find that?
Hey, look, don't get me wrong, it's challenging at times, but I can honestly, genuinely put my hand on my heart and say that, again, it comes down to the right people, the right staffing. So I've got 10 members of staff here, so it's massively staffed. And yes, a lot of complex needs, but we've never had, it's 21 guys at the end of the day. They're all veterans. We've never had one fight. Yes, we've had arguments. There's never been any antisocial behaviour. There's not been any crime. They look after the rooms, because fundamentally what we've been able to do is give them back that structure and routine. So we keep them active, we keep them engaged all day long. And fundamentally, respect is a big thing, so it's not just about them respecting us for providing the service that we offer them. We respect them. It's equally important that we give them the level of respect that they're due, and and it works both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when people, how long have you been open now, Andrew?
So nearly a year. So we opened on the 7th of December last year in the midst of COVID. So yeah, nearly a year.
So how many people have you had through? Do you have those numbers as to how many people?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. So since December last year, we've supported 53 veterans who have been homeless, whether that's street homeless, sofa surfing, living in vehicles, and have left the criminal justice system.
And then where do people generally transition on to after they've been with you?
So we're working with Calico Homes as well. So Calico have provided us with 2 other properties. So we've got a 4-bedroom and a 2-bedroom property as well. So that's our move on community properties then. So that enables them to sort of concentrate more on that transition into living independently within the community. So managing tenancies, better managing finances. That's when we kind of sort of hand over the rails, if you will, to dealing with their own medication and appointments and such like, further volunteering opportunities. But bespokely concentrating on whatever their future employment goals are. And then we work with that, and then once they've got employment, we then seek a move on property again within the community, and they start living independently.
Fantastic. So you've got that clear model of transition and support to help people to move on to get to taking on their own tenancies, essentially, at the end of it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Brilliant. Now, obviously, because we're talking about property and property things, sometimes I'm asked, what kind of properties do veterans need? What would your answer be to that, Andrew?
Exactly what I've got here. Honestly, the only thing that would make this building any better would just be the position at which it's in. It's in the middle of the town centre, and if we were to be able to have some outdoor garden space, it would be absolutely. It's phenomenally, incredibly amazing building anyway. But exactly what we've got here is what people should be looking for.
So you're thinking like a large building with, are all the bedrooms en suite, or are they shared bathrooms?
All en suite. And
then big communal space. And I think sometimes people, when they're looking at schemes like this, try and cram in lots and lots of bedrooms at the sacrifice of some of the communal space. And so it sounds like you've got very generous sort of space for facilities and offices and all of that stuff. So from a property developer's point of view, they need to be thinking about putting in quite a lot of space around for those facilities for it to give that model that's working for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just for example, the training room that we've got down there, it fits about 40 people in it. So in terms of that training and education space, that's how big that needs to be. But we run like residents meetings every Mondays and Fridays as well. So that allows the residents to have their voice of what they might want in the building and what they might want on a training program. So yes, communal space and space for training and education opportunities as well is fundamental, because sort of like touching on the training program. So Monday to Friday and sometimes Monday to Saturday, we have something going on every single day from 9 till 5 every day, which is going to keep them going all the time.
And do you have any accessible rooms that, if you've got people who are disabled or wheelchair users, do you have that facility there? Is that something that's needed?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've only got one bedroom that's disabled access. It's got a full-on wet room. Obviously, it's got all the emergency alarm systems and such like inside. That obviously go into the main office. We've got a what's it called now? A modified disabled toilet downstairs. Ambulant disabled toilet, that's what it's called. That's the one. And then we're just literally about to get a stair lift fitted into the building as well, which the local authority have paid for through adult social care. But we have further plans to future-proof the disabled access to the lower areas of the building in due course. So yes, I would absolutely say you need some disabled access or accessible rooms as well.
Yeah. And then those transition properties that you use, is there anything different about those? What are they? Are they just shared houses, or is there something different about them, Andrew?
No, they're just shared houses. Yeah, so that's all they are. 4 bedrooms upstairs, and then shared living and kitchen downstairs with a backyard or a small garden. So
you'd have four veterans living there independently, essentially, with you guys coming in providing some ad hoc support. Is that how it works?
Yeah, I mean, it's not as intensive support as we provide here at Bancroft, but we still see them at least 2-3 times a week, whether that's them coming down here and still engaging with activities and support from here, or we have our out. So when they move up to them properties, they fall under our outreach support workers. So they'll then go up to the property and do sort of housing checks and health and safety checks and sit down and have one-to-ones and find out what it is that they want or need, or what they've been up to. So yeah, we still continue that support. It doesn't end. It never ends for us, to be fair, because then when they leave and move into the community independently living, they still fall under the community outreach. But it's more just as and when they need us, and you get to walk through that door whenever they want, even if it's just for a brew and a coffee. We're just there. We're there all the time.
And that's so important, because the veteran mental health journey isn't a straightforward trajectory, is it, where you go from being poorly to being well? It's not like that. It's a very bumpy road, isn't it?
Very. Very.
And so being able to carry on offering that support and having that big building that people can just identify with and know that they can just pop back in, like you say, and have a brew and sit down with someone, that must provide so much support for people and for families as well, which is what you offer as well, isn't it? Which is something that's a bit unique, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of our rooms downstairs is a family room, so we've got, and it's got, again, all the rooms downstairs have got their own ensuite, like sort of shower bathroom. So when the lads, so many of the guys have been disengaged from their families for quite some time, and particularly the children. So what we've been able to do is demonstrate to the families or ex-partners that said veteran has been through a period of recovery and he is where he is. So they're now allowing them the opportunity to start forging the relationship with children again. So we have that family room downstairs, which is set up with settees and toys and PlayStations and God knows what else. And, you know, it's a safe space for them to take the children. But equally, we're also supporting, obviously, children's services with supervised visits with other service users and their children. So we try to do everything we possibly can, but obviously in a safe and controlled manner.
And how have you found the community has taken to the building being there and the service you're offering? How have you found that?
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, the community and other businesses and such like. I told you how big the building is. I didn't spend £1 on setting this building up. So it's incredible, absolutely incredible. That people love it, and we're getting calls constantly, people turning up the door, wanting to offer their services through volunteering or making donations, or, you know, just a wide plethora of things. But the support's been incredible.
Wow, that's so good to hear, isn't it? That's brilliant. For property investors who might be thinking that they want to develop properties for veterans or get involved in this area of support, is there any advice you have for them, Andrew, or anything you think they should be thinking about?
So yeah, I mean, look, there are people out there who do this for the wrong reason. It's all about the money, and fundamentally, yes, people have got to make money. But if you're going to provide this sort of service, then, you know, you've got to think about the end users at the end of the day. So right staff, right people, the right staffing levels. And it's not just about you having a building and putting people in, it's having the right connectors as well. So the right people to deal with the mental health, the addiction, the welfare, the benefits, and having all of those part of having a piece of the pie. And I'm more than happy to sort of do some consultancy work from my perspective, to assist and support people if necessary.
Brilliant. Thank you, Andrew. It's been really great chatting to you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Much appreciated.